So now we are recording live for our YouTube channel and Facebook. You could always join us live on Facebook at Lillian's Radio Show. So that's facebook.com/Lillian's Radio Show. So welcome. Today, we are going to talk about the coronavirus, staying at home, quarantine, mandatory, so that this whole nightmare will go away. But today we're going to talk about tips to endure this time in our lives. So fasten your seatbelt because we're going to learn and grow together. Here we go. It's time to dance.
The Lillian McDermott Show.
We love, we fear, bridges we burn, we make mistakes, then we live and learn. When life gets tough, and it seems like your best ain't good enough. If you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be right here, right here. And when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for you.
This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening and viewing friends. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who are new to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show /classroom, please know I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening, as well as my viewing friends on Facebook Live at Lillian's Radio Show, so that's facebook.com/Lillian's Radio Show, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Now, living the life of your dreams has taken on a new image, right? What some people call normal, like I work out of my home mostly. My husband also works out of the home as well. This is normal for us to work out of the home. But for many of us, we find ourselves displaced without a job, without, hope, without contact of people we love. There's so much uncertainty, a lot of talk about the economy tanking. So there's so much where we could be enjoying this time with our family, our time reconnecting with ourselves and our friends, maybe virtually. There's that distancing, there's that panic and fear. So today, Lisa and I were talking the other day, and of course, Lisa is the CEO of Live Longer Medical. She is a certified health coach with all these certifications behind her belt, one that I trust completely. And she and I started talking. Actually, we had an event where we had our friends get together and we kind of talked about what was going on and how we were feeling. And we thought, this is true for what's happening in the world. Yes, we can talk about Live Longer Medical and the things that Live Longer Medical can do for you, or we can talk about how Live Longer Medical is helping people and adjust and adapt and still take care of them while we're in this crisis that may become a blessing long term. So since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am so grateful that Lisa Geyer is here to do just that. Welcome back, Lisa, to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show Classroom.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Isn't this a kind of a crazy time?
Totally. It's all about adjusting and being flexible. And I think everyone's having to learn that. And you brought up really valid points. The emotions are really a huge piece of it. I mean, there's things to look at when you're forced inside. And in different parts of the world, there are different levels of quarantine. There are areas where you're just suggested that we stay home. There's a lot of fear. I think, for people. And I think for those who are more susceptible to a fear-based ideology and they have difficulty coping with that, they have to find ways to manage it.
Mhm.
So I think there's the emotional piece. I think there's the responsibility piece. I think there's just issues that we all need to consider with food and what we're choosing to eat during this time, and where we eat, and how we provide that to our families. There's a lot, but it's a fun adjustment if you look at it that way, and if you find those things that can make it pleasant. So we can go through a list of some of those things today.
Absolutely. That's what I asked you to come up with a list, and I said, Lisa, you're doing it because this is different for you. You're usually getting dressed, going into work, seeing patients at the clinic. And of course,
Yeah.
we were talking about Live Longer Medical. You can find them in the Atlantic, Florida, and their phone number is 321-327-2980. So you can go there and be a part of the family at Live Longer Medical. But right now, they're completely shut down, but they've reinvented themselves during this period. So let's talk about a little bit about Live Longer Medical and how it's affected the patients, and how you're seeing your patients at this point.
So we felt just completely shutting down wasn't going to be the best solution. We provide a lot of therapies in our office, but the exposure for our staff, for patients, we felt was a concern. And so just trying to use wisdom and make a good decision, we elected to provide what's called telemedicine visits. We use what's called DoxyMe, and it's worked fabulously. We haven't really had any issues other than spotty connections, which is just due to the heavy load, I think, with everyone trying to get online. But for the most part, it's worked fabulously. Patients are raving about it and asking us to continue. So I think that's something we will continue to provide. And also it may create changes in how we practice and what we do, because so much of what we do doesn't require that people leave their home, have a 45-minute drive to the office, wait to see the practitioner and time after. So there's probably a lot of things that we will be able to streamline for our patients that I think will make it a better situation in the future. So, I think I'm taking a serious look. This allowed me personally, from a business perspective, to make decisions that might be better for our patients and for our staff long term. So when the time is right, we'll reveal a lot of new things that we'll be doing, and we're also making changes to make it better for everyone.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that you are listening to everything that you need to do. First of all, mandated, because as a healthcare practitioner, you are mandated to do certain things in order to see your patients. I went to the doctor yesterday for a wellness visit, and they all had masks and they had gloves, and they escorted me right away into a private room. I never was seen, but anyway, and that requires a lot of manpower without a lot of patients. So, doctors today are very limited to how much time they could spend, but at Live Longer Medical, you guys don't do that. You already have that the patient comes first mentality. So there is a lot of fear that is out there. And I heard you use the word wisdom. Let's explore wisdom, shall we?
Let's do
that.
I think there's a big difference. And I think for patients, if they have a fear-based propensity, you need to find ways that work for you that are more calming, whether it's taking a bath, whether it's watching funny movies, reading a book, whether you need CBD to go to sleep at night. I've had patients that we've recommended several things to help with sleep. We don't like to recommend medications, but we prefer more that mind-body, try to find those things that work more effectively, more naturally. So I think if you are bent that way, one thing you might consider is just looking at what is the wise way for me to manage my life during that time. What can I do to make things different? It may be your routine has to change. And sometimes those are good things. Being forced to take a staycation, it's kind of a nice thing to focus on your children, your family, your partner, your husband, and take that time with them. So, and using wisdom, what does that mean? You know, for us in our family, we've chosen to really limit our exposure. We do take walks. We stay away from people. We do get outside. We're fortunate we're not quarantined where we can't take those walks. We're very blessed that way here.
Mm-hmm.
Using gloves. If we get a box, I use gloves to open the box. I clean things off to put it away. On cardboard boxes, you know, unfortunately, that virus can last for 24 hours. So it's, you know, there's a chart that, I'm not sure if we posted it yet, but there's a really good chart out there, like how long does the virus live on surfaces, and different surfaces it will live for different periods of time.
Mm-hmm.
So I keep gloves and we use them. If I get groceries, I have them delivered. We clean everything off and we put it away. There's just things that you do that are just wisdom, and you feel better. You feel a little stronger because you had an active part in doing something that is protecting you and protecting your family.
Very good. Okay, so there were a couple of things that you said. First of all, you were talking about people are having a hard time sleeping, and that you're recommending CBD. Now, are you able, and I know that this is something that I've been able to enjoy, is that you have a store at Live Longer Medical, and you can just now, because of telemedicine, you can see anybody at any time, right? Well, at your hours of operation.
Right. We've been flexible with that. We've had a few people that have time constraints, but our schedule's filling. So I've been telling patients, if you want an office visit, you need to make sure you're on the schedule, and then make sure you show up. A few hiccups are patients that, you know, that have changed their phone number. So we're kind of having to remind everyone, please go in and make sure in your patient portal that your phone number is current, your email's current, so that, you know, we don't have problems contacting patients. You know, another thing before I forget it is we're also recommending apps that help people relax. You have a really good one for brain tapping, and they're one of your sponsors.
Yeah,
So,
and people can go onto my sponsors page, or I think it's my shop now, because they're an affiliate sponsor, and there's a free 15-day trial to try some of those. You can use your own headsets, or you can buy the headset yourself.
There's also one called Calm, CALM, and Headspace. Those are some that I've had feedback from patients that have been very, very helpful. And it's a real issue for patients that have anxiety. So it's something that I would recommend you find what works for you and begin to use it. But also take comfort in doing things. Sometimes when you're doing something, it helps you have more empowerment over your situation. Anxiety comes from fear. So if we can take action, if we can do things that make a difference and feel like we're protecting our family, it can make a difference. Just one little thing can make a big difference.
Yes. Are you also recommending melatonin at all? Like liquid
Melatonin,
okay.
L-tryptophan. There's on the store on our website, things are sectioned off if you need help with sleep, and you can go to that and look at some that might work for you. If you're concerned about what might work, you can send us a quick message through the patient portal, and we'll get back with you. It might take us a day or two, but we are responding to patients pretty quickly.
Very good. Very good. So then you said that when you have deliveries, you wipe your box down. What are you wiping it down with?
You know what? I'm using either soap, it depends on what it is. We also keep alcohol wipes and sanitizing wipes. So it really depends on what it is. If it's celery, I rinse it off with a vegetable spray wash. So that's kind of what we're choosing to do. It just varies.
So you're basically rinsing things off, and then the box you're wiping it with the Clorox wipes or whatever, the bleach wipes or alcohol wipes. Very good. Okay. So when you're saying these things, I'm like, okay, I want to know what Lisa's doing.
Well, Seventh Generation has some very good disinfecting wipes, and I really like that company and I support them a lot. So we keep those and alcohol wipes. We keep the natural Purell around, and we just wash our hands a lot. Honestly, these are things your mother taught you. Yes. When you go to the bathroom, you wash your hands. When you're going to prepare food, you wash your hands. So, if you're using dirty boxes that have been in the hands of many, many people, wash your hands and just use, some wisdom about it. I wash down the scissors I use to open the boxes. It just it's just wisdom and doing things with intention and knowing what's going to work to keep your family safe. I mean, I'm using Amazon a lot for deliveries. I have a list. I think I gave you a list, didn't I, Lily? I don't know if we can post that, but there's a list of companies I added to it. I'm not sure if I sent that to you.
You're welcome to post anything on the page. Yes,
we might
absolutely.
want to do that because I'm getting my vegetables delivered. We get daily harvest for our smoothies. We've been doing smoothies. Food's another thing we should probably talk about at some point.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
All of these things are things that help promote healthy eating. And it's so nice to be at home. I love to cook, so it's not a bad thing to be forced to look at some new innovative ideas for cooking too.
Mm-hmm.
I do notice, and I'm hearing this from patients, that kids are craving carbs. So why would kids be craving carbs? Why are they craving macaroni and cheese and pasta? Well, pasta and carbs will increase serotonin levels, which are, help with, mood swings and feeling depressed or feeling anxious. So you may see that in your kids. And I would just suggest, you have to balance it. Proteins are very important.
Yeah.
But make sure that at least if you're giving them carbs, try to get some good, healthy
options, because I'm thinking Velveeta, Kraft, macaroni and cheese. That's not real food. That's Frankenfood, which could cause anxiety, depression. Right. So it's like we have to make sure, again, wisdom. I like that underline wisdom, which is to make sure that when they're making these choices, they're healthy choices. So
exactly.
So the pastas that are, maybe non-GMO or gluten-free or, so there's different things that you can do to make something better. Nobody's perfect.
You're right. There's a new one that I had not tried yet. It's called Thrive Market and Freshly, and Misfits Market is what I use for my organic vegetables. And it's really fun. You get to create your box, and I get a box every other week, and it's really worked well for us. Splendid Spoon, Nutrition Longevity is another really good one. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot that we can choose from to get our delivery. And I actually found the costs are not as exorbitant as you might think, and it saves you time and gas and emissions and all those things that we're reducing now by staying home.
The world is changing. Gas prices have gone down, and I'm like, how could that be? I would think that they would gas gouge, but Robert and I were talking about this today, and he said, well, there's no demand. There's very little demand. So everybody is affected by this.
I know. It's not a bad thing. It's a nice staycation. What else did we want to talk about?
Well, okay. So along with the wisdom, and you were talking about and the ordering and having things delivered, preparing meals, because you're saying that kids are craving carbs. Is there anything else that we need to be aware of when it comes, because you're very well versed in nutrition, and so with that in mind, what are things that you're doing to make sure? Somebody called it the Corbid 15. So instead of the 19, Corbid 19 is instead of freshman 15, it's the
I like that.
Quarantine 15. How about that? Let's just call it the Quarantine 15. What are you doing to avoid those hefty pounds coming in?
We're focusing in the morning. We start with smoothies, and it's a wonderful option. You can throw so much in a smoothie. In fact, my daughter, who's 17, made her own smoothie yesterday, and she was bragging about the spinach and the kale and all the great things that she put in it. And when you make those smoothies, they don't have to be loaded with sugar. You can choose things like agave. It's wonderful because it doesn't affect blood sugars dramatically, and it's a great sweetener. And you can get organic. I just had to order some on Amazon today, so I don't have to run out and look for it. But you can add things like that to your smoothies. We use coconut water. We use coconut milk. We've been using mangoes, raspberries, blackberries, blueberries, strawberries, and we get all organic. So you can throw just about anything in a smoothie.
Yes, you can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong. And I use Mojule dates. That's what I use. I don't use agave. I just use, if I need to sweeten it up, because the fruit is sweet enough.
Yeah. Dates are wonderful for that. I just ordered some more dates. But you know, when you throw those in, like we had organic papaya, and people don't think about using papaya, but it's super loaded with nutrition and vitamin A, which is great for us right now.
Yes. That's awesome. And so we have a lot of students in the classroom right now, and I'm so glad to see you all. If you are watching, give us a thumbs up or a heart. Let us know where you're watching from, or what is the food that you're craving as you are staying home and being a part of this change in your life. So share some of that information. I'm glad that Liv, you're on here, that Victoria, that you're on, Ibrahim, I'm glad to see you. I know that you're listening from where is it that you live? Because I see the name of your place, but I have to find it in a map. Let me know where you're from. Okay, so now when it comes to food, a lot of foods can bring a higher level of nutrition. Food can be a weapon of mass destruction or a tool to heal every cell in your body. So as you're looking at food, a lot of people are drinking lots of vitamin C or drinking orange juice because of the vitamin C. But can you drink enough or eat enough food because of the need of the supplements that we find ourselves in at this point?
Well, you know, there's a list of preferred supplements that I've heard lots of different people recommending. I mean, we keep a list as well. And you've had a few people on recently that had great lists of supplements. And I've sent a list out to my patients just to consider keeping at home. Vitamin C is wonderfully important. The USRDA recommends 60 milligrams a day. That's really just to keep you from getting scurvy. So it's really, it's not optimal, and it really isn't. It's
At
not
least
the
you won't get
best.
scurvy though, yes.
Right, there you go. But really to enhance immunity, every person is a little bit different. And I always admonish people to take time to take vitamin C to body tolerance, which means once you see you have loose stools, then you cut back, and then you kind of know what level is working for you and what's enhancing your immunity. I have patients that take 10,000 milligrams a day. If you are compromised and you're getting IV therapies, you can take significantly more in an IV. Vitamin C is just one of those staples. It's just a staple. You can get a powdered vitamin C and throw it in your smoothie. We put powdered magnesium in our smoothies. We put collagen in our smoothies. That helps with hair, skin, nails, and joints. You can, again, a smoothie hides a lot of things that, you know, your younger kids don't even know it's in there. And you can really be giving them a lot of nutrition. And it's packed. As far as other supplements that I'm recommending selenium. You can get 2 Brazil nuts, and it gives you the amount of selenium you need in a day. You can get selenium in your multivitamin. If you've got a really, really, really good multivitamin, which not that I'm trying to toot our horn, but we have an amazing multivitamin that I have specially compounded, and it's got all of these things in an optimal level balance as opposed to just what will keep you alive. And so we're recommending that. We're recommending things like glutathione. N-acetylcysteine comes from glutathione, and it has, which is one of what they found to be the strongest antioxidant you can take. So glutathione is very important. So N-acetylcysteine is another great supplement that we're recommending right now, NAC. Vitamin C, I'm personally taking 2 peptides. One is LL37, and there's a lot with LL37. It's a large protein, and it just enhances immunity, just to keep it simple. I do have a write-up we could send to patients if they want to read about it.
Do you have that in your store?
You can get it. It's a prescription, so you do have to be a patient. You do have to have it prescribed to you. Thymosin A, I absolutely love. There's just no side effects. There's just a wealth of knowledge online if you look up thymosin as far as an immune stimulant, but I'm taking those daily just to keep my immunity strong. Not everyone can do that, so the vitamin C is awesome. Getting a good multivitamin, selenium, zinc is
Yeah.
another big one. And I have my mother taking a lot of zinc just because she has a need for it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the tests we talked about before, but if patients have gone in and they've had testing done to know what they're deficient in, it's a good idea to look at some of those that enhance immunity. And if you have a propensity to not have enough of those things, it's good to keep those on hand.
Very good.
Also, things like just really nice combinations. If you go to our website and you put in their immunity, it will give you a list of things that you could look at taking that we recommend too. Vitamin C, though, right now, they're even using that in the hospitals. I saw in New York, they're getting smart enough to give it in an IV for these.
When allopathic medicine fails, that's when they look at alternative and natural.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. It's slow. I mean, we've been doing vitamin C IVs since 1994 for a very, very long time. It's just, you're right. Traditional medicine is slow to take them. There's not a lot of money in it. So I think that's probably why they're not as interested. So,
well, that's the first thing I did. I called you up and I said, I'm coming over. I'm doing a vitamin C IV. And you did.
Yeah.
You gave me some extra with some magnesium. What else did you put in my bag?
You had B vitamins, B complex, methylcobalamin, calcium, magnesium, trace minerals. And I think that's all we had in yours.
I was chilling. I was chilling after I was done, and I soaked it all up. I had been exposed. I had gone to the hospital with my dad during that time. I was taking care of my mom.
Yeah.
And I called you up and you said, come on down. I'll take care of you.
We'll
so
hook
I was
you
really,
up. We'll give you a hookup.
You hooked me up and it was awesome. So thank you so much, Lisa. It's who you know.
Yeah.
It really is who
You're
you
in
know.
the know.
And I'm so glad I know you and you're a friend. So that's wonderful. But for those of you who live in the area, I know that Live Longer Medical is not doing IV right now, but that would be a good thing to do to build your immune system wherever you're at, if you can do it. I know Dr. Stephen Grable also has vitamin C and IVs, and we talked about that the last time he was in the classroom. So it is so good. And that was I think that has helped me because I've had to take care of my mom, or I haven't had to. I've chosen to take care of my mom for 2 weeks, for a 2-week period of time where I was exposed to a lot of stuff, but I needed to make sure I was safe for my mom. And that was the thing. I really attribute it to the vitamin C because it was in my body. So I want to thank you for that. And the moment this is done, I'm coming over and getting more vitamin C. I really love that. Okay, because you absorb 100% of it with a pill. Right. Because here we are talking about 10,000 milligrams of vitamin C, and people go, oh my God, 10,000 milligrams. Well, how much of that am I absorbing? And it's enough for what I need, but I've taken more than that and I maybe absorb maybe half of what I'm taking in. But when it comes to IV, that's just perfect. It is absorbed 100%, right?
All right. Another biggie is vitamin D, Lily. There's so many people deficient in vitamin D. And honestly, in 20 years, of testing people, it's rare to see somebody that has a healthy vitamin D level unless they're taking it orally. And it's fat soluble, so you can't get it in an IV. But you can get IM injections if you really need a boost, and you can take it orally to keep your immune system strong. It's very important.
Yeah, and there is a lot of, I don't know, a difference of opinion when it comes to D levels. What do you look for D?
We try to stay around 80, like to see patients around 80. And it does differ. Patients will go to different labs and have different lab values. So we try to look at that and see what their lab's saying. I think that most people, if you might see them around 20 to 30, and it's pretty low. And it makes a difference. I've seen patients who have really, really bad allergies, and they just start taking vitamin D, and it's life-changing. So it's just one of those things that we all can take a little inventory of where we are in our health too during this time, and things that we need to change and modify, and how cool that we're forced to eat at home. It's a great thing. And it does make a difference in how you feel. Some of the things I've heard from patients is their digestion's improved. And I'm thinking, well, when you go out to eat, you don't know what you're getting sometimes. You don't know the fats they've used.
Lots of sugar, lots of salt.
Lots of sugar, lots of salt. Yeah.
Yeah. And not only that, the oils they're using may have GMO in it, and maybe the cheapest form of oil that is not the best for
Yeah.
you. So hopefully we're taking care of ourselves. I love to cook. You see, this is to me, eating out is stressful sometimes because I may
Wow.
um, something might slip by because I'm allergic or sensitive to wheat and dairy and certain nuts. So I
Right.
always know when I've had something, it breaks into my skin. So I'm enjoying my time at home,
Yeah.
but I also love riding my bike and taking those walks that you're talking about on the beach. I'm fortunate enough that I live a half a mile from the beach, so I get to enjoy
Really
these
helps.
beautiful walks, and that gives you D, and you also get grounded from the earth, and there's so many benefits. And they're closing down our beaches, which I
I
just
know.
don't understand. I think people are kind of breaking the law a bit because they know that that's more important, but they're patrolling, they're
Yeah.
doing everything to keep us in home. And I'm not minimizing. I know that there's a virus out there, but there are also a lot of viruses out there. There's bugs, there's flus, and there's respiratory infections. There's so much
Yeah.
out there. I just want people to just be courteous. If you have the sniffles or a sore throat
Right.
or anything like that, truly stay
Distance.
home.
Yeah.
Even if you're allowed to go to the grocery store,
Yeah.
wear a mask or put something so that you're not contaminating
Yeah.
anybody. So I'm not
Exactly.
not trying to minimize things. I'm just trying to be, courteous to other
Right.
people, especially if they have immunity issues. Okay, so we had talked about family time, and you had talked
Yeah.
about how you've, gotten really creative and doing things with your family. But have you played Yahtzee lately?
I don't have a Yahtzee here.
Oh, we've been having
Um,
fun with Yahtzee. It's
I
quick.
I guess I need to get one here. It's interesting. I moved not that long ago, and one of the things it forces you to do is to really get unpacked and organize. And I hear that from a lot of patients too. They're cleaning, they're organizing. It makes you feel a little better about your life and the way your things flow in your home. I think that's
Yeah.
an important thing. My daughter, who lives in Spain, she has two children. We use WhatsApp and kind of do a video chat regularly.
So cool.
And, it is so cool. But they have been quarantined, I think it's over 19 days. They can't leave at all.
At all.
And they're in, I think, 1,600 square feet with 3 bedrooms and on the 5th floor. So, I even said to her today, gee, can you at least go down to your lobby? And she said, no,
Wow.
we are only allowed to leave to go to the grocery or the hospital. So she's had to be creative. I mean, they have hopscotch at home on the floor, and they have decorating on every wall, and they play games. And, it's really been a good time for them to bond as a family. But it can also have moments of making you feel like you're going stir crazy. So, having said that, you do have to reach out and find some creative things that help you feel like you have more space than you do.
Mm.
Even if it's hanging your head out the window. I think I've seen videos of people playing ball from window to window. I've seen all kinds of.
Well, so does she have some suggestions for people with young children?
It's making games. The biggest thing I've seen this daughter of mine create are amazing games with these kids and keeping them on a schedule. There was a story that Lydia sent me from an Italian mother who's English from what I can tell. And she, was advising families, not that you have to live in fear, but don't send your kids out and have them with other families who've been exposed, and then your children are coming back home. And don't feel badly that you have to be firm, with your kids and protect them. There's nothing wrong with having that boundary with your children, to keep everybody safe. She's in Italy. Italy and Spain, they have very rigid laws, about their quarantine. So, it's a really important time for you to create the rules that work for you, and also find the fun living at home and being with your children.
Yeah.
It's just a great time, for everybody to hone in on some cool, fun things. What they've done is they they stocked up on coloring books, games, storytelling. They've created the funniest games I've ever heard of. They had these sticky toys that have like suction cups on them.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so they were throwing those at the wall, and whoever hit it close to the mark, anyway. So, and cooking together as a family. They were making cookies today. So there's all kinds of things you can do as a family that keeps everybody busy and not focused on being so confined.
Yeah. And, and this is a great time to laugh as well. I saw this video. I don't know what I was looking, of course, I'm hardly ever on Facebook or YouTube or any of that, but because I haven't been doing a lot of marketing calls or anything to that effect, I've had a little bit of time watching, looking at, I've been able to kind of like acknowledge and reply and do a little bit of that. Only a limited amount of time, because I don't want to, you can get sucked into Facebook.
Right.
And so I saw this one video of two dogs that, they were like at each other. And the title on it was Our Family Being Sequestered. And so the dog goes, and the other one goes, and there's like, they start yapping, and they start yelling at one another. And then all of a sudden one goes to a corner, the other one goes to the corner. And then all of a sudden one goes, and then it starts all over again. And yes, it could be, it could be that a lot of people are making light of this, but there's something to be said with laughter. And how laughter builds our immune system, and there's so much fear. And so what would you like to say and add about that?
Well, there's studies that show that fear and anxiety will weaken our immune system. So again, find those tools that will take you out of that place and really help so that you don't have that anxiety. It increases, the load on the body to fight, and, and it weakens the immunity. It weakens the ability to fight. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And so it's really important to, my daughter used to have TV time. Well, that sort of went out the door, because you can't, you've got to find those things that's going to keep everybody, that will keep everyone distracted. And if you've got to watch TV, at least find something that's educational for little kids, and loosen up on your teenage kids with their social media, because it's just not going to be, you can't expect all of that when everyone's somewhat sequestered.
Yeah.
So I think, not having boundaries, but not so many rules is really important for these families right now.
Yes.
And it is stressful for a lot of these families that are much more quarantined than we are. We're admonished, but we're not completely quarantined in the Florida areas. So, I think it's important to, go online. There's so many cool things you can do online and come up with ideas that will really make a difference and keep everybody happy and playing games, whether it's Yahtzee or Monopoly or, all those
I wish
cool
I had
things.
Monopoly, because that lasts like 8 hours, right?
Yeah, that's a long game. Yeah. You have to have,
played some marathon Monopoly games when the kids were little. But I'm looking at what Kay is saying. She says puzzles are popular. That's a great time
puzzles.
And it helps with the brain as well.
Yeah.
And Victoria says she's craving romaine lettuce. Romaine lettuce.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's an interesting crave. That's good.
If you can get organic romaine lettuce. Do you know what we did? We've started growing indoor gardens.
Oh, nice.
So we're doing some experiments right now anyway, but one of the things that I did is I started growing herbs. Well, we've expanded it to lettuce, tomatoes, and just some other things, but you can get these affordable indoor growing gardens. It's great for kids. You can get them, they're non-GMO, you can get good seeds, and hydroponic, where they're, not using soil. So there's some really cool things like that. And actually you can order that on Amazon, I must say.
Yeah.
So, that's another cool thing to do as a family, and watch those grow and clip the lettuce leaves off. We just clipped off a huge amount of basil today.
Oh.
So, and I love basil. The smell of it alone is great.
Love basil.
Cilantro. You can do some very cool things. So that's something to look into. And there's some that are very affordable. I think one of them that we purchased was $100. We're looking at different ways of growing.
Mhm.
So we're trying some different, Arrow Garden is another one that we tried.
Victoria, she sits in the front row in the classroom. She talked about aeroponics.
Oh, I don't
Instead
know
of,
that one.
yes, I thought you just said that.
It's called, it is Arrow. It is Arrow
Because
something.
you were talking about hydroponics, but she had mentioned that she's doing, because she lives up north.
Yeah.
And so she had mentioned the
Oh,
aeroponics. I had
cool.
never heard, but I thought you were just talking about that.
We
So,
do have one that's called Arrow Grow, I think is the one that we got.
oh,
And
okay.
yeah, it's really neat. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
yeah, Victoria says she's also has an indoor garden, and she loves to grow kale.
yeah, kale's
Yes,
awesome.
yes.
A lot of,
Okay, so before we move forward, because I want to make sure that all of you know the importance of taking ownership. This is what we're talking about: wisdom, ownership,
Mhm.
empowerment. All these things add up to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show classroom. This is where we take ownership for our lives.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of decisions being made for us right now. So
Mhm.
how are we going to make the best of it? How are we going to
Right.
look at the most of it? And I want to talk later on about Yale and all these courses that we can take. For now, I
Yeah.
want to encourage you to go to whenyouneedafriend.com. We don't know what we don't know. So I want to encourage you, if you haven't become a sponsor yet, because there is some censorship going on with YouTube and Facebook. So I want to encourage you to, if you want to stay connected, make sure you subscribe. And when you subscribe, you get free gifts. You get to know who's going to be in the classroom before anybody else does. Also, while you're there, make sure you like and follow me on Facebook and social media and YouTube. Subscribe there. Just hit the little bell, subscribe, and share and like and follow and invite people to the classroom, because we need to grow, because there's so much information, misinformation, fear mongering. There's a lot of stuff out there. And we really, I love the word for today, Lisa, wise, wisdom. We need to be wise about what we see, what we hear. And so with that in mind, I want to encourage you to go to my sponsorship page. And while you're there, check out all my sponsors. Sponsors like Liberty Health Share, Keep Me Safe Organics, First Alternative Care, which is another form of telemedicine that's nationwide, that has family practice, behavioral health counseling, and dermatology. Check it out. Dr. Stephen Grable, and he's in Jacksonville, Florida, and he's been a wonderful teacher in the classroom. The pharmacy that's able to make compounds and, make the medications that you're taking a little bit easier to tolerate in the body. You just mention my name. Check out the discounts for all of these. Live Longer Medical, of course, making us as beautiful on the inside as we are on the outside, and vice versa. And so we have Ground Therapy, Brain Tap, which is rewriting the program in our brain. So if you want a free trial, just click onto my Shop Now bag, and you'll be able to go there and start your meditation, which is on steroids as well. And so support our sponsors the way they are supporting the classroom. And finally, you can become an enrolled student. With all this fear out there, I'm already getting notifications from people that are thinking about not being a sponsor because they don't know they have to pay their employees, and they're trying to be creative. So I'm just sharing with you that this is something that I need your help. So whether it's $1 a day or, $1 a month, whatever it is that you can help with, click on the Enroll Student. There are gifts and packages for that, and you'll be able to, if it's something that you want to do once in a while, just make a donation for it on, if you go to PayPal. My PayPal is lily@whenyouneedafriend.com. So help us out in any way that you can to grow the classroom time, talent, and treasure. So today, Lisa, we're talking about wisdom. I love the theme for today. You've really thought this out so eloquently. And again, I want to encourage all of you to go to livelongermedical.com and check out their store. Some of the vitamins that they have are handpicked by Lisa, and she's very particular about what she puts her name on. and what she represents as well. I know that personally because I've had long conversations with her about products and why she chooses a particular product. So her number is 321-327-2980. She's taking new patients through telemedicine right now. So if you feel like you want to talk to somebody that is more like-minded and more holistic, Lisa would be someone that would be welcoming you to join her group. And so Lisa, I want to thank you for thinking this through. And also I wanted to talk about one of the things that we haven't mentioned yet is expanding who we are, becoming better us. And you had shared that your daughter, who is what, 17?
Yeah. We didn't talk about kids being home. That's,
Yeah,
there's an
keep on
investment for
going. We
these
still have some
kids.
time.
The kids are home and they have to learn how to learn differently. My daughter's probably home for the rest of the school year and everything's online. So not only the kids have to learn how to learn differently, so do the parents, and how to organize their home for learning and all of those things that you have to kind of organize.
Yes.
So I think it's hats off to these kids because they really, basic things like, how do I ask a question? What if I don't understand it? Who do I call? Who do I email? So, you have to work with your children too to learn those things. But my daughter was a little bit bored, and I hate that word, but anyway, she said she was bored. So she elected to take a course from Harvard, and you can actually go online. Some of them are free. Some of them you can pay for a certificate. And she took a biochemistry course, and I loved watching her take it. And she finished and she had a 98. She was super excited. And I thought, well, I'm going to do that too. So I'm taking the same biochemistry course right now. And then I'm also taking a second course through Yale. And it's a really good one. It's called The Science of Happiness. And I recommend it to anyone because it's really getting to the nuts and bolts of happiness and really making you think about character qualities and the things that you can do to enhance your God-given character strengths. What are your strengths and how can you use them in your work, and how can that change how you feel about your work? So all of these things are really vitally important. There's a really great book that they reference a lot by a Dr. Seligman, and he wrote a book called Authentic Happiness. So, these are great things. If you've got this time at home, you may as well use it and educate yourself and make yourself a better person, just as you were talking about.
I love it. I love it. My daughter, who owns a gym in Jacksonville, Florida, and it's called Burn District Fitness. So Burn District Fitness, they have groups of 28 to 30 people working out, circuit training, measuring their heart rates. She created her own brand. She's brilliant. Well, when she was forced to close her gym, she was already on it because she saw it happening. And she's creating virtual classes that are kicking my behind. And it's the only time I ever perspire. So I'm thinking my lymphatic system is thanking me, and are her classes. So she's still employing her trainers, and they're going on there. If you go, it's called Mind Body is the app that you get, and there's a quarantine challenge, whatever, and it's free for those of you who want to join this class. If you're interested in it, let me know. But I've been doing the classes, and it's been kicking me, and it's been wonderful. It's nice to have that personal attention. So I want to challenge you, Lisa. Let's take the class together.
Yeah, we should do that. And that is another thing. Exercise is so important. We didn't even get to that yet.
Well, we are now.
There you go. And there's so many online classes. And my daughter in Spain said that everyone goes out on the balconies with their Peloton bikes. So they're all exercising together on their balconies. I mean, there are ways to make it happen. There are ways to get that. We're fortunate to be able to walk or run on the beach or bicycle around. But, these online courses are fabulous. It's great your daughter did that. I love it.
Well, yes. And so anybody, if you guys are interested in it, just send me a message and I'll send you the link. But, she has 3 classes a day. I took her 6 o'clock in the morning on Monday because I had a doctor's appointment. But I've been taking the 11:30 class Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays because I can't do anything like the rest of the day. It's like I couldn't raise my hands because I was feeling like I actually did 120 sit-ups, and throughout the
Oh
course
my
of the
God.
class, 120 sit-ups, 120 push-ups, and 120 squats
I
throughout
love
the
it.
course of that class. And so you're doing it in your home I had a jug of water that weighed 10 pounds. So people are getting creative. Isn't this beautiful to
It
get
is.
creative? Look at your daughter, 17 years old, looking for stimulation for her mind.
Yeah.
And Yale is doing these classes. You said they were free unless you wanted a certificate.
Right. Yeah, and everyone should look online. There's really, really many of them that are offering lots of different courses. It's a fabulous way to just improve your own skills and enhance what you do when you're working, when you're back at work.
Absolutely. So as we go forward, I mean, any words of wisdom that you would like to share for people who are, watching the news 24/7, maybe feeling anxious, some
Yeah.
last minute words of wisdom?
I think the best thing you could be doing is to reduce how much you're watching the news, minimize that, slow that down, and spend more time on enhancing the positive things, finding humor, taking good supplements, watching the foods that you're eating, really guarding all of those things in your life that will benefit you, will enhance your immunity, and will keep you from having anxiety, will give you strength, will help you feel empowered to deal with whatever situation tomorrow has. And, and just living with wisdom and balance as opposed to fear and anxiety.
Great words of wisdom. Great words of wisdom. And Lisa will post, maybe you can go underneath this and put in the comments section all the different places that you found that are helping you maneuver this time where you're choosing not to go out to the grocery store, choosing not to, because, this distancing, the 6 feet, to me, that is a false sense of security. Because when
Right.
you're coughing or when you're sneezing,
It's in
you're going
the
to
air.
break the Guinness Book of Records. You're going to
Yeah.
go beyond 6 feet. You're going to go. So there is a lot of people that have this false sense of security as well. But by building your immune system, you probably have been exposed. But because you have a
Right.
strong immune system, you didn't even know that it was affecting you. Does
Yeah,
that make sense?
exactly. Love it.
Yes. Yes. And so Kay says anxiety is through the roof.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Well, I think, again, you've got to slow down how much news you're watching and really create that list of the things that you're doing to protect yourself. And do your best to follow those rules, and try to spend time with people that will help you reduce that anxiety. And then look at some of these apps that could make a difference. If you're having trouble sleeping, find something that's going to help you sleep. For some people, it's a glass of wine and a bubble bath. You never know what it is. So find what works for you. And, I'm very fortunate. I have, my family around me, and we're all feeling very strong and supporting each other and healthy eating and creating foods together and meals and talking. So, even if you have to FaceTime with other people. What is it we did the other day? Lily and I, with our girlfriends, we had a Zoom call.
Yes.
Can't get together, so find a way to do it. Do a Zoom call. They're free, and have some fun together too.
Yeah, we did. It was so needed too. It was nice to see you guys and be able to have a fun girls' night without having to leave the house.
Yeah.
And this is going to be the new normal for a little bit. So
Yeah.
we could fight it and it cause stress in our body, or we can embrace it and find the beauty in it. And I think it's up to us and what we decide. And I had shared with Lisa that I had come up with in one of the classrooms. So it was that setbacks are opportunities to courageously step forward. So what are we being called to step forward to? And so if there's anxiety, maybe you can go onto the app where, or go to my page at whenyouneedafriend.com, go to my shop now, you just scroll down to it and click on the 15-day trial. It's a free app that you go in. You need to download, put your information in there, and then you will have access to it. And it's a great way to use technology to help you. Lisa Geyer, I love, love, love having this conversation with you. I feel like a better person because you're in my presence. So thank you very much. And those of you, go to livelongermedical.com. We're going to have like a little powwow after the classroom. So join us for those of you who are listening on the podcast. Please remember, this is Lillian McDermott and Lisa Geyer wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Good job.
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve your life.
Well, Lisa,
but did
well
you see
said.
this picture I sent you?
No, I did not see that. No, I'm not coming down. I've only been... How cute is that? Hey, I heard Mia was barking.
So sorry.
She has never barked before.
I'm like, Ward, don't let Mia bark.
Well, but Mia's never barked before, so maybe she wanted some attention.
Maybe.
And, so she was playing with Ward, and
I guess
so. That's right. Ward did a little cameo. So this is really good. This is life. This is life. Wasn't there?
This is working from home.
Yes.
This is working from home. Yes.
This is what it is. And so for those of you who have been joining today and you're sitting in the front row of the classroom, I want to thank you guys, Viv and Ibrahim and Victoria and Kay and all of you who watched without us knowing. Mary was the first student in the classroom, so you have to give her the thumbs up. Yeah,
Yay,
she was. Yes,
Mary.
Yes.
Woo-hoo.
And so I just want
family
to.
Support.
Yes, family support. This is what it's all about now.
Yeah.
My mom and dad, they are elderly and they are sequestered. They are in quarantine because my mom was with me for a while, and it was really, really tough to have her escorted into the building without me. I felt like I was leaving my kindergartner in class for the first time. I'm like, no, but at the same time, I knew she would be best served there because I couldn't get help. I just couldn't get the help that I needed. I did have someone that came in, and thank God I made the decision to have her go back, because the following week, the only person that was able to give me 2 to 3 weeks was an angel. Gave me 2 or 3 hours, twice that week, called me up and said, we're not allowed to go back anymore. We can pick up groceries, we can do this, but we can't go in. And I'm like, you know what? I'm so glad I made the decision. So we just get to make decisions with what we have, not what we don't have.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Make the best of it in the moment. It's adjustments. But honestly, I think it helps people to really look inside and figure out what do they need to improve. Yes. And we all have stuff to improve. Yes. Like Mia's barking.
Oh, Mia's fine. I didn't even hear her. Anyway, I spent 5 hours because I just, when my mom was with me, I spent 5 hours coloring with her.
No way.
5 hours.
Artist.
I had blisters. I still have blisters. I don't know if you see that. I have a little bump right there from because my now she was holding her pen a little higher because she's an artist, but I'm like rubbing my hand on the little. So we were doing like the adult coloring book, and she was so cute. She said, Lily, you can frame this and sell it for $10. I'm like, wait. The frame is going to cost me $5. I've spent 5 hours with you coloring. So what? I'm not going to sell this. This is worth more to me. And
that's so cute.
So I wanted my mom to sign it, and she wouldn't sign it because artists don't sign other people's work. She's such a cutie pie. And so, and that was hard. That was difficult during that time. But you know what? You make the most out of it, and then you turn it into, okay, what is beautiful about what just happened. And when I look back at that week that I had my mom here, plus the week that I was with my mom and dad at their assisted living facility, I think I could never take that. I could never get that back.
Yeah, I know.
I can never get that time back. And I was able to be there, and yes, it was difficult. Yes. But what a blessing to be able to love your family the way
Yeah.
you can love them. And if there is discourse in the family, well, make the best of that too.
They'll figure it out. Kind
Yeah.
of like what Ward said, the president forcing us all to take a vacation.
Yes.
It kind of is,
Yeah. But unfortunately, people aren't getting paid. And
That is the
that's
downside.
where, we could order, food and have it delivered. But what about the people who
Who
don't
can't afford
have
to
the
do it?
money?
Yeah, I
That's right.
know.
And so, yes, that's
Oh, that
very
reminds
real.
me. Do you want me to put that list on here? I should.
Yes, go ahead. We can do that.
Oops, let me
But
move
anyway,
just a
so
minute.
let's go ahead and we'll say goodbye to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I am looking forward to our next conversation. There's Ward. His cameo appearances are
I
just
know.
amazing. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching today and being a part of the classroom. Please share, invite people to be a part of this so that we can continue to learn and grow together. Until we meet again. Tomorrow we're going to be talking with Robert Scott Bell about the latest on the coronavirus and some of the things that
Cool.
we can do as well, and some of the things that the media is doing to kind of create
Enhance.
this fear, whether it's intentional or not. So we'll see you tomorrow at 5 Eastern time.